We welcome you back as we welcome in the second-year guard for the Connecticut Sun, Rachel Banham, and this is Heroes Night, Rachel, and who better to speak to about heroes than you, the daughter of not one, but two police officers. Your father, Don, and your mom, Melissa, were both officers with the Minneapolis Police Department. What was it like growing up in a household where both of your parents were law enforcement officers?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. It was a strict household, definitely. My parents were always on me and my siblings about, what we're doing, where we're at, teaching us the right from wrong, all those things. So it was a very disciplined household, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
As we said, it's Heroes Night here at the Mohegan Sun Arena. How old were you when you first started to realize what both of your parents did for a living was, in fact, heroic?
Yeah, I would say in elementary school when I started to really realize. I think what really clued me into that was my mom worked nights. So, when we were going to bed, she was suited up to go. And that really opened my eyes to be like, wow, she's about to go work all night long while we're sleeping. And, late at night, that's when some of the worst crime is. So I think that's when I was really like, wow, that's big time. And, that's something that no one really wants to have to do. And that's something that she's willing to do. And, my dad has done the same stuff. So I think that's when I really realized my parents are pretty cool.
They met on the police force?
They did, yes.
A little bit about the history. I'm sure that your mom and your dad have both told you their personal histories, how they got into law enforcement. Why don't you tell our audience?
Yeah, well, my dad's a few years older than my mom, so he worked in Wisconsin for a little bit, and then he moved over to Minneapolis, and he's been there ever since, and my mom was kind of the same thing. And I know at first she wasn't sure if she wanted to go down that route, and then once she got into it, she loved it. And they ended up meeting. I believe my dad was sort of her boss, which is kind of funny. And then ever since then, they just kind of hit it off, and it worked out that way.
And they both have athletic backgrounds, don't they?
They do, yes.
So I imagine that was a pretty nice merger, the discipline of being law enforcement officers and also having athletic backgrounds. It almost seems predestined that you would be an athlete as well,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was easy for us. They taught us what to do, when it came to sports and how to get it done the right way. So that wasn't really a problem in our household.
And you're not the only athlete in that household, are you?
Nope, all of us play sports.
Your brother was a running back at the University of Minnesota, correct?
Yes, yep. And my younger brother is a running back at Eastern Michigan right now.
And your grandfather also was a police officer. He was a member of the University of Minnesota Police Force. Tell us a little bit about him. We know your father's name is Don and your mom, Melissa. His name and his history.
Yeah, my grandpa is Donald Banham Sr., and my dad's Don Banham Jr., of course. And he was an officer for the University of Minnesota campus, and he was the first black officer on the force. So that's huge right then. And during that time, obviously, there was way more racism than there even is right now. So it was a lot going on for him, and he was just so tough. And he's one of the greatest people in my life. And he's passed away now, but he left behind a really big legacy.
And I can imagine that the support system with your brothers, your sister, your parents, this is not something you've done on your own. This has been obviously a group effort as a family, hasn't it been?
Absolutely. I always contribute a lot of my success to my family. My siblings always pushed me growing up. We fought a lot while playing sports. We kind of just toughened each other up, and my parents stayed on top of us as well.
Well, Rachel, most parents, all parents are always proud of their sons and daughters. I'm sure you're equally proud of what your parents have done for a living as well, aren't you?
I am very proud.
Thanks for joining us on Heroes Night.
Thank you.
That's Rachel Banham. We're back after this.